In my last video, I shared that when my oldest was younger, I used to hit her. Before I knew better, I used to hit her. And you guys had a lot of questions, and I want to give you those answers because I want to be transparent with you. I want you to know that if you're in the beginning part of your journey, that I was there too, only a couple of years ago. So the biggest questions were, when and for how long did I hit her? I probably stopped hitting her when she was around 2, between 2 and 2.5. And if I had to guess, I've probably hit her 4, 5, maybe 6 times in her whole life. And I hate saying it that way because I don't want to minimize it. I was hitting a child under 2 years old. And it's something that I still feel guilty about. People asked why. And honestly, it's probably the same reason that you are doing it or we're doing it. And that's because I didn't know any better. That's how I was raised. It was normalized for me. And at that point, I didn't realize how much of my trauma was even trauma, let alone coming from childhood things. So when Zoe was about 2, I started doing a lot of personal growth work. And that journey started because I didn't like the relationship that I was having with her. It felt really stressful in my home. My husband and I weren't having a great relationship. And I started to realize, I feel like I'm not being the mom and the wife that I envisioned that I would be. Why is this? And I started doing personal growth work. And when I started doing that work and I started learning lessons like you are allowed to have big feelings and you are allowed to ask for things that you want and you are allowed to have opinions that other people don't necessarily agree with, I started thinking about all of the times that had been suppressed for me. And when I think about those 4, 5, or 6 times that I have hit Zoe in her life, I only hit her when she got really out of control. And from everything that I know now, I only hit her when she was in a meltdown. I only hit her when she was needing me most and navigating big feelings most. And to this day, over 3 years into my journey and her healing from that, as much as I validate her and I do all of these things that I tell you about here, I still see tendencies in her that I feel really guilty about. I see people pleasing. I see apologizing. It took us weeks of working on hey Zoe, when you're having big feelings, it's okay if you cry in front of mommy. That was real lessons that I had to teach my young 3-year-old because I had trained her not to show big feelings in front of mom. It does feel terrible to me that that's how I started my parenting journey. But when you know better, you do better. And I really hope that she sees that I am trying to do better. Every single day I'm trying to do better.